Hello everyone. We will continue the topic Singleton class as a part of ABAP OOPS. And in the previous video, we covered what is a Singleton class. Singleton class ensures that we have a single object or instance throughout the execution. Then we covered two important points. We cannot create a object of singleton class outside the class. If you cannot create a object outside the class, it means we cannot go for multiple instances. The singleton class object we create in the class method itself. We will write the logic in the class method itself. It means singleton class is itself controlling the instance or object creation. Now, into this particular video, we will simply cover what are the various steps to implement a singleton class. Suppose if you are creating your own singleton class, then what are the various steps you need to do? The practical part is already available in persistence class topic. But to understand that, we need to simply understand what are the various steps required to implement a singleton class. The real-time example is already covered. But to understand that in a better manner, we need to firstly understand what are the various steps required to implement a singleton class. So whenever we want to create a singleton class, we will simply go for three steps. What is the first step? First step is instance generation. Whenever you will create a singleton class, the instance generation must be private. Now the question comes, why we are going for instance generation as private? So that we cannot create a object or instance outside the class. Word itself is saying, if the instance generation is private, it means you cannot create a object or instance outside the class. So the first important step is, whenever we want to create a singleton class, the instance generation must be private. So what I will do, I will simply create a class, singleton class. I will take the instance generation as private, and then I will show you we cannot create an object outside the class. Suppose I will go for SC24 transaction code. You all know you can create classes, global classes through SC24. There is no specific radio button to create a singleton class. Yes, we have 4 types of classes only. We'll go for usual ABAP class. Whenever we will go for these 3 things, it will make a singleton class. Now, suppose I'm giving the name Z singleton. Suppose I will write class _1. I will go for create. I will go for class. Suppose I will give the description singleton class. Now choose the instance generation as private. This is the first step. Say instance generation is private. I will go for local object. I am activating. Now this class instance generation is private. Suppose I am going for a method. Suppose I am going for method sum. It is an instance method. Suppose I am taking visibility public. Suppose I will write to make sum of 2 numbers. Suppose I will take parameters. I am writing P input 1, P input 2, Suppose I'm taking importing, this is importing. Suppose I'm writing integer. Suppose I'm taking integer. Suppose I'm taking P output. This is exporting. This is also integer. Now I will simply write the logic. I'm writing P output is equal to P input 1 plus P input 2. I'll check the syntax and I will. Now I want to call this method. I want to call this method in a program. So I'll simply write the logic. I'm just taking an example because real-time example is already covered. Just to understand that, I'm just showing you demo. Suppose I'm writing ZPRG. Suppose use of Singleton class. I'll just go for create. Suppose I will give that title demo on use of Singleton class. I will choose the type executable program. I'll go for local object. Suppose I'm giving object data hello underscore object type ref2. This is our class because I want to call this method. This is the instance method. It means I need to declare the object. I need to create the object. So I'm writing class name. Now I'm simply writing create object hello underscore object. Now, whenever I will go for syntax check, system will not allow me. It is clearly saying instance cannot be created outside the class because instance generation is private. Now the question comes, in instance generation is private, but I want to call this method. How I will call this method? And it is a instance method. It means object is compulsory. I can call with the help of object only, but I cannot create the object outside the class. Now, the most important point we covered, yes, we will write the logic to create the object in the class itself. In the class itself, we will write the logic to create the object. Now you can understand in better manner how the practical part is going on. So firstly, suppose I will take two parameters in the program because that is also required. Suppose I will take two parameters. Parameters P underscore input 1 type I will go for control D. I will declare one out. LV underscore output type I. I'll go for activation. Okay, I'll just comment the statement as of now because it will give me error. Because we cannot create object. Sorry. I'll just activate this program. I'll just provide that text selection text. First input, second. Now I want to call the sum method. Now how I will call? Now in the class itself, we will write the logic to create the object. Just simply compare. Whenever you want to create the object, how you are creating the object? You are declaring and then you are creating. It means these two things we need to do in the class itself. So we will simply do these two steps in the class itself. So this is our second step and third step. What is our second step? We will declare the variable. In the next step, we will write the logic to create that particular object. Yes. So these are our two steps. So what is our second step? Declare one static variable. This variable will hold the single instance. Yes, this variable will hold the single instance and it is referring to class itself. Just simply compare if you are creating the object. I'll just close other sessions so that there will not be any confusion. I'll just close this also. This is must be there. I'll just close this also. Okay, these three sessions must be active. Okay, I'll just close this also. Now we will simply compare. Now, these two things we need to write in the class, Singleton class itself, because we cannot create the object outside the class. So these two things must be in the class itself. So we will firstly go for this step. This is our second step. You can declare a static variable in the class itself, and it is referring to class itself. How you are declaring the object? Object type ref to class name. Same thing we will do in the Singleton class now. So how we will declare? You all know whenever you want to declare the variables, we simply go for which particular tab? Attributes tab. Attributes are just like data objects. Yes, whenever I want to declare the variables, I will simply go for which particular tab? Attribute tab. Here I will declare. Suppose I am writing hello underscore object. Just see, same thing which you are doing outside the class, now we are doing in the class itself. So hello underscore object. Now this is important thing. I will go for static attribute because we are only going for single instance. So I will take this as static attribute. I will go for visibility, public, and here I will go for type ref to. You all know how you are declaring the object name type ref to class name, object name type ref to class name. If you compare the steps, it is very easy to understand. We cannot create the object outside the class. It means we need to write the logic in the class method itself. So firstly, I declare the object name type ref to class name. Now I will activate. Now we will go for this third step. Second step done. We declared a variable which will hold the single instance. Yes, just simply compare. It is holding your instance. Same way, it will hold our instance. It will hold our instance. Now, what is the third step? In the third step, we will simply write the logic. And how you are writing the logic in the static method? How you are writing the logic in the method? In the method, we will write the logic, create object name. Now, here we have one of the important step. What SAP is saying, whenever you are going for Singleton class, it is good that you give the name get underscore instance. Anyways, it is just a recommendation. If you will give any other name also, there is no restriction. Just for the best understanding that we are getting the instance, we will simply give the name get underscore instance. So I will go to this particular class, Singleton class. I will go to methods. Now I will give the method name. Get underscore instance. I will take this as a static method. Now I will simply go for public. Suppose I will write to get the instance of Singleton class. Now into this method, I will write the logic. Just see how I'm writing the logic. I'm writing if allo underscore object is initial. It means if the object has not created, I will write create object allo underscore object. Anyways, just wait, you will understand fully. Now I'm taking a returning parameter into this method because we want to return the object, whatever the object is creating. So I'll go to parameters. Suppose I'm writing RO underscore object. It is your returning. Suppose I'm taking the type returning and I'm giving the class name. Just simply compare object name type ref2, object name type ref2 class name. So whatever the object is creating, I'm simply returning this to this returning parameter. Just simply, if you want a output from a class method, you are going for exporting. Here, I want to return the object, whatever the object is there. So I'm simply creating the object and returning to this returning parameter. I'll go for syntax check. I'll go for active. You can go for exporting also, no problem, because we are going for single returning. So I took this as returning parameter. So what is the summary of this particular video up to this level? Extremely important video because it will make a base to understand the agent class, why agent class is your Singleton class. So whenever you want to create your own Singleton class, depends upon the requirement, you need to go for 3 steps. Firstly, whenever you are going for Singleton class, take the instance generation as private. Why you are going for private? Because that is a base itself. Whenever you will go for private, you cannot create the object outside the class. So I created this Singleton class. It's a usual ABAP class itself. And the instance generation is private. Now into this class, I have a sum instance method. I want to call this method into this particular program. But I cannot call this method because your instance generation is private. So you cannot create the object outside the class. But you want to call this method. So how you will call this method? You will write the logic for the instance or object creation in the class itself. So whenever you want to go for object creation, how you are doing? You are going for declaration, you are going for creation. So in the class itself, I declared the object. Yes, object name type ref to class name using the attributes tab. Yes, please take static attribute because we will go for single instance. We will go for only one single instance. Yes. Now we need to write the logic. Create object name. Yes. So we simply created the method. That's also a static method because we are going for static value. We are going for static object from this particular method. So I took this as static method. I have written the logic. If the object has not created, create the object and returned the object from this particular method. Now into next video, I will simply show you how you are calling and how we have only single instance throughout the execution. That part will continue in the next video. Thank you.